All right, so here are 5 things that I hate about my Lexus IS350. This is a 2011, a 13-year-old car that has a bunch of mods on it, so that's why it looks a little newer, you know what I'm saying? It looks like it's a 2024. It has a 4AS bumper lift. I don't know why that's controversial. I consider this a 4AS bumper lift, not a 3AS. It's in its own category. But anyway, here are 5 things that I don't like about this car. And yeah, I'm not gonna be biased at all. I'm gonna literally lay things that I have on this car that I don't like. All right, I'm gonna keep it short and simple for you guys. So subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1K. We're trying to get this channel monetized so I can get money off of this channel, so I can keep putting money into this thing, because I'm broke. So here's number 1. So number 1, the first thing I hate about this car is this trunk. This trunk, it's not too bad for me, but I have siblings. I drive people around. And some people just don't know how heavy this trunk is, and they end up like slamming the car. I also had an issue where the tail light, which is right here, the actual wires from where I set it up moved from people like slamming it so hard because it's heavy. So I assume people just think you have to slam it. I'll show you what I mean right now. Let me get out of here. Like, if you look at this, right? Like, it's really simple. If you let it go, that's it. It's good. You don't have to do anything. But when you go to actually unlock this and you hold the button, maybe I should have started with the second thing I hate about this car. Like, once the trunk is unlocked, you'd figure if you're carrying a bunch of groceries or stuff, like, this would go up. It doesn't. It just stays there, which I guess is convenient if you're like driving and you left your trunk open. This isn't going to go flying. But it would be nice because it is a heavy trunk. And then, you know, I'm strong. I'm like 7 feet, you know, like pushing, like I bench press like 300 pounds. No, but in all seriousness, this trunk is heavy. Like, my grandmother, I'll give her a ride somewhere, you know, like, and she'll come out to get something out of the trunk quickly. Now that sounds so bad. I mean, in terms of like when someone leaves something in my trunk, like my aunt would leave her purse or my mom, they'll complain that the trunk is too heavy. Now, this is a fairly easy mod to fix. All you have to do is, I don't know what the exact words are. I'm not going to pretend like I do. You just need these. I don't know. Not even going to pretend. I was going to say it's like the hydraulics or something of the actual vehicle. And these parts here, you could just replace it. I heard it's fairly easy to do. I know some people who have done it, but if you're buying this car stock, this is something to keep in mind. This trunk is dummy heavy. So, you know, I guess start hitting the gym. At number 2, for the second thing that I hate about this car, just for some context, when I purchased this car, I was only given 1 key fob. I didn't know, like, obviously it should have came with 2, but it was my first car. I was purchasing this alone. I should have negotiated a little lower on the price to get a second key fob, but I'm having an issue where my key fob won't work. Now, I've heard that it is a common issue, quote unquote, for 2ISs if it's really hot, for like, I don't know if it's the sensors around the vehicle that it won't pick up the actual key fob. Now, I've replaced the battery, and when I replace it, it works fine for like the first day, and then after it starts bugging out again. So I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I'll show you what I mean. If I step out of my vehicle, close my car, and I try to lock it, it won't lock. Like, it'll take a minute. Just to show you for context, I will set up the camera and show you how far I have to be. So you'll see in the taillights when it's locked. Okay, so I'm all the way over here before it actually picked it up. Once it picks it up, it continues to actually lock. So I'm locking it there, unlocking it there. Now I'm gonna get closer to it, right? I'm gonna lock up my car, and it's not working. It just stopped working out of nowhere. Nothing. I'm like pressing it at this point. Like, nope. And it locked. At number 3, I hate the fact that the rear seats aren't ventilated. Now, I know this is like I'm nitpicking at this point, but bear with me. I thought these rear seats were ventilated when I first saw them because they have like little cutout holes like the front ones. Turns out it's just to make the seats breathable. It was like literally my first video where I was like, oh, if anyone has an IS350, let me know if the back seats are ventilated. They're not. I've experienced like driving in a Challenger and a Charger, and I know the rear seats on those, if you get them, like if you get that as like a customization, you can make them to be ventilated as well, which is nice. I got this car for that same reason because I carry passengers in the back a lot. So, you know, it's a nice feature to have. It's just one thing that I do hate that I wish this car did have. If it did have that, it would literally be like the car, like it would meet every single box that I wanted on a vehicle. But it's just one thing that I hate. The fact that it doesn't have rear ventilated seats. I forgot to mention, I don't even, that is not a mod you can do if anyone's like thinking that you can mod that. It probably could be, but I can't imagine how much work it would take to actually get like ventilated seats working in the back. At number 4, the fourth thing I hate about this car is the fact that the bass rattles a little too much. I don't know if it's the rear sunshade that's causing it, but this shouldn't be too hard of a fix to actually do. I imagine if you, I was looking on the forums for like the Lexus IS forums where you could like add some padding to actually stop it from doing that. But as a result of it rattling a lot, my rear view mirror shakes, and there are times when I'm driving and it looks like there's an earthquake behind me. So just keep that in mind. I have to add some adhesive to this rear view mirror because it's like, I don't know if it's from the bass that it's like hanging a little low. You can see what I mean. But depending on the music you listen to, I listen to rap a lot, so I do have the bass a little higher than normal. Just keep that in mind that it can be an issue with your IS350 or your 2IS. That's the fourth thing I hate about this car. I'm not gonna cap with you guys. I am sweating, bro. I'm like dehydrated at this point, but subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1K. At number 5, for the fifth thing that I hate about this vehicle, is this sticky dashboard. Now, this is a common issue with all 2ISs. When it gets hot, this dashboard gets sticky, it starts melting, it starts chipping. Lexus did a recall for it, but the recall bin ended at this point, and they replaced like the front, like the dashboard here for the door panels also. It's just something that you gotta keep an eye out for. When I purchased this vehicle, I made sure that this didn't have that, and it actually happened to be in really good condition. To combat that though, even in winter, I'm putting this windshield cover. Doesn't matter. I'm putting it on to protect the dashboard because I'm not taking any chances. The previous owner actually had the windows tinted, so the door panels are pretty good shape as well, since the heat isn't like blasting on them. I don't even know what percent tint this car has. I think it might be less than 10 actually. But aside from that though, if we get this video to 2K likes, I'll upload 5 things I love about my vehicle. I'll highlight the outstanding features of the 2IS. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't. We got to get this channel monetized so we can keep putting money into our car. This channel is, this is the car's channel. This is our car. We're sharing this car, and we're going to supercharge this junk eventually. We'll save up enough to put a supercharger into the 2IS. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.